Good afternoon, I'm Dwayne Carter, Sports Information Director at West Virginia Wesleyan College, and joining me today for the Baseball Coaches Corner is head coach Randy Tinney. Randy, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Well, your Cats came back from Florida with a 5-5 record. Not bad. I know that talking to one of your assistants, it could have been maybe 8-2 or it could have been 2-8. So, 5-5. Discuss your thoughts on the tour.
Well, I mean, it was an interesting week. When you're having 11, 12, 13, 14 runs scored a ball game, you're going to have a lot of ball games obviously decided late. And that's exactly the way it was. Every game was competitive, maybe with the exceptions of one throughout the whole week, and many of them were decided in the 8th and 9th innings. So it was an interesting week. I learned a lot about our team. Still a team kind of in transition, trying to fill a couple spots from a year ago and trying to figure out which players are going to give us the best chance to win a ball game.
Right. Now, I know that your team gave up some runs, but it's a lot different down here. You're playing double hitters day after day or single games day after day. Obviously, when you get into your normal rotation, your schedule, your pitchers are not going to be taxed like they are down in Florida.
Yeah. When you're trying to squeeze 10 games in an 8-day period, obviously the way that we worked out, we started 7 different pitchers while we were there, and 3 of our pitchers did get 2 starts on the week. But we were using, as you say, a lot of pitchers that were really getting, their first taste of being a varsity starter against some very good Division II programs, and it was a learning experience for them. I think it makes us all better in the long run. But in the end, if you're throwing what you might perceive as being your number 5 or 6 against someone else's number 1 or number 2 pitcher, it depends on when in the week you play them. And again, some of that just ends up being, again, 12 and 13 run ball games. I think in many of our games actually were over 20 runs scored between both teams. And that, as you say, at times might not say much for your pitching, but I don't want to necessarily fault that. At times our defense wasn't as good as it needed to be. And we saw more good than bad, and that's what we're excited about.
Yeah, offensively, I know a lot of several players had good trips down there. Gene Franks hit the ball well. Gary Williams, probably I'd say your hottest hitter was maybe Kyle Allard. He hit 500 down there, I believe, going 15 for 30, and for his efforts, he was named the WVIC Player of the Week. So congratulations to Kyle. I know he struggled just a little bit last year. What does this mean for him to get off to such a great start?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. As you know, Kyle is a tremendous athlete. He was a Kennedy Award winner in football, an all-state player in baseball. Kyle is somebody that, for whatever reason, started several games as a freshman. Things didn't click for him. Last year as a sophomore, same type of thing. This year, kind of tried to give him a little bit of confidence in knowing that he was going to get an opportunity to either win or lose a job, and things started to fall in place for him, and he's been a very pleasant surprise. He's one of those guys where the potential and the capability has always been there, but for whatever reasons, things just didn't go his way. But last week they certainly did. Now, whether he can continue to hit 500 on him or not, that's yet to be seen. But Kyle is a 4.0 student, an engineering major, and the type of player you love to see succeed. So that's what I'm most happy about.
Okay. The Atlantic Regional poll came out this week. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but Wesleyan did receive 1 vote in the poll, which places us 15th in the region. What exactly does that mean for your baseball team?
Well, Jim Leland, a great major league manager, always said that it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So I don't really. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for the school to get the recognition. We've got a lot of work to do before we get into that top 10 and hopefully ultimately the top 6. The conference is very, very strong this year. You look down the schedule. There's not a lot of games that you go out there and you look at and say, well, there's definitely a win. That's just not the way this conference is this year. You've got West Virginia State that's very good. Concord also. These are teams that are in those regional polls. Shepherd, Seton Hill. There's a lot of different people receiving votes, and it's going to be a very challenging year. Right now, the biggest thing that we're trying to get over the hump with is Mark Darlington, who was our leading hitter a year ago, who's been out for the last 5 weeks, had an MRI on Monday, and we're supposed to find out tomorrow what the future is going to be like for him. But it's been left a hole in our batting lineup as well as defensively, which we really were not able to fill on that spring trip, and we're still in search of that. the people that we ran out there gave us good effort, and but still, it's hard to replace somebody that's the leading hitter on your team.
Right.
So.
Okay. Looks like Wesleyan, maybe their spring break was a week earlier than most of the WVIT teams. It looks like most of the conference teams are down in Florida this week. So you might have a better idea of how some of the teams are going to fare checking the results this week.
Well, D&E is off to a very good start.
Right.
We know that because you always kind of keep one eye, on the opponents that you've got coming up. They're very, very good. They have everybody back from a year ago. As I mentioned the last time we talked, I really found it hard to understand why they weren't picked first rather than us in the Central Division. I think they'll be very competitive ball games. I don't think we have to give an inch to them, but the reality of it is they have a very good ball club coming back. They got off to a very good start. As I say, we've got some questions we have to answer. I think theirs are already answered.
Right. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your schedule. We're filming today on Wednesday. You're supposed to go down to Bluefield. That's obviously been postponed for a later date right now.
That will be made up on April 29th.
Okay. And then you're supposed to open up your home season Saturday against West Virginia State. How is that looking right now as we film?
Well, as we're filming, the snow is probably finally actually leaving our field. I drove down by this morning, and most of it was off. The real problem is later today, rain's supposed to move in. They actually have flood alerts for this area for the next 2 days. So to say Saturday's looking good, actually I will have a conversation in the morning with Coach Bailey. If their facility is playable on Saturday, in all likelihood we may go there and play at least one 9-inning game.
Okay.
And kind of switch out the home away dates that we already had pre-scheduled.
Okay.
So we're hoping to get a game in Saturday. It just may not be here.
Okay. Of course, Wesleyan fans can check our athletic website for an update on what's going to be going on with the baseball schedule. So, well, Coach, 5-5, like I said, off to a pretty good start. Anything else you want to add?
Well, again, nothing other than it was, this is the 24th year I've taken a team to Florida. I have a very good group of young men, and it was a great experience for them. It's an experience they never forget. For some of them, it's the first time they've ever been to Florida. To play again 10 games in 8 days. We had 8 JV games over that same time span, and as you alluded to earlier, to try to squeeze 18 games into an 8-day period, that's tough on any pitching staff. And wins, we certainly would have loved to have had more, both JV and varsity. But again, over the long haul, that playing time and that experience is valuable for the players and certainly for our program. So we were happy with it.
Okay. That'll do it for this week's Coach's Corner. Coach, we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully you'll be able to get some games in this week. So,
we're looking forward to it.
All right. For head coach Randy Tinney, I'm Dwayne Carpenter. We'll see you next week on the Baseball Coach's Corner.